on, y'all? Aquan here, back in another video. Here today to give you my review of the new Busta Rhymes record, BlockBusta. So this is a new album from New York legend Busta Rhymes. Y'all know I posted the song review earlier this week with my mom. Shout out her. So now we got the whole album, and honestly, it was exactly what I expected. And I was overall, I was pretty happy with the album. Like I said, it was exactly how I expected. So, neutral to happy. But let's get into it. I think overall, my feelings was this was an album where basically it was going to be like Busta re-emerging to the scene of pop rap, but using more modern styles, but still keeping his quality raps. And that's pretty much what we got. So going through, overall, I thought the writing was great. Between great and good, honestly, I could go either way with this. There were clever lines and definitely some very catchy and outstanding, out there lines, but nothing like bar-wise or crazy, like rhyme scheme-wise that was like really stuck out to me. Besides a couple songs at the end where he starts talking about his children and that note to not like that like note to self style congratulations track. Those couple tracks at the end where I thought were lyrical highlights. Not lyrical but substantive highlights, just in the way that he was celebrating his career and celebrating his success as well as his children and their success. But overall, for the most part, the project just felt like, solid, catchy lines that you might hear from a Nicki Minaj or a Ludacris. A lot of excess, a lot of material, but well written, and it delivered in an interesting way. But then between great and good, I think maybe I'll go with great just because those last two tracks, it's on the teetering edge, and those last two tracks I thought were really, really good. So I'll go with great for the writing. Then for the flows. This is this was amazing. This was amazing. Busta, the variation of flows, his ability to go fast and slow, the delivery, and most importantly, the preciseness. His enunciation never got lost. Never, ever, ever got lost in what he was doing. It was always precise with the flows. You could hear every single word he was saying. There was a couple of weird singing performances here and there that knock it down from a perfect, but overall, Busta don't miss with the flows. He's super, super good. Features, and I'm gonna go with great on here. In a lot of ways, I compare this record to King's Disease 2, King's Disease 1, where this is his reemergence back into the modern era, and therefore he is equipping a lot of more modern day features. Some of the highlights I definitely felt for features were Quavo on Remind Him. Of course, you had Blast in the mix, who was fire. Blast choruses don't miss. And Big Trigger, who gave us one of the best moments, as I stated, of hip hop earlier, with the sort of call and response legacy talk that they were having. I thought that was super good, super well written, super interesting story. Really, really enjoyed that. Absolutely. Overall, it for me, the features were cool because I feel like most of the rappers gave solid performances. You had Young Thug in the mix. It was a lot of modern, like I said, it was a lot of modern stuff and him engaging with these more modern sounds. So yeah, while I don't feel like everybody truly had, no one had any standout performances to me, again, besides Quavo and Big Trigger, everyone had pretty much just average performances. I do like Young Thug, like DaBaby, like T-Pain. I do feel like, given that everybody was placed so well, I gotta give it the great for that. Next up, let's talk about, let's talk about the production, because I think the production and the musical execution kind of go hand in hand. I'll give the production a great, and then I'll give the musical execution a good, although, I don't know. I'll give the production a good. I think both of them is kind of my biggest issues with the record, and they're not personally they don't personally bother me. I should say Like they're not things that I think make the album bad, but it is things where like it's reasons why I don't enjoy this album as much as maybe I would otherwise. Which is that like to me the like as a Gen Z individual who listens to all of these kinds of songs, I think the album kind of felt a bit generic because the concept of the record is, hey, I'm doing all these modern sounds, and inherently it's gonna mean that he's doing song ideas that have already been tried, already have been mastered, already have been like proven formulas to work, right? You see, he does like a more melodic type song with Blast and Moray. A more melodic legacy track with Blast and Moray. You see that he does sort of a pseudo drill song. You see he does a pseudo drill song with GNR. Like a lot of the songs to me, he has a really actually shout out to Coi Leray. He has a another solid dance banger with Coi Leray. And then there was kind of the lowlights of Beach Balls, which I think really falls apart because of the beat, in my opinion. And yeah, like to me, the main thing I feel with this album, especially like musically and production wise, is it was just we had a couple of really good Afrobeat songs with Burna Boy and some by himself, the one called Tings. And I think that Busta has some ties in the West Indies or something like that. So that merging of island music and Afrobeats was cool, and it definitely felt authentic. But overall, a lot of the music I'm not personally taking with me because it felt kind of generic and didn't really like for someone like an older like individual who's getting into new like music. This is a great album to do that because it presents these new sounds with very strong rapping from Busta Rhymes. But for somebody like me, like I listen to hella Afrobeats, I listen to hella drill, I listen to hella dance music, melodic trap bangers, trap bangers, all of it. So like this was just kind of like it felt like a summary of stuff I already knew, and so I didn't end up taking. And a big part of how I judge musical execution is how much of the album can I personally take from how much of the album can I personally take as like an everyday experience. And I didn't find myself, besides maybe the Quavo song, I didn't really find myself taking that much. Not because the music is bad, just because I don't have much use for it at this point in my life. And so yeah, I would say the musical execution and that kind of go hand in hand. Overall, I thought this album was cool. Wasn't crazy, but I would say definitely great. Definitely great. Solid writing, solid features. And again, for somebody who doesn't know too much about like this newer wave or this newer music, it's a really, really good introduction. And it does all of the songs it attempts like really, really well. And oddly, like, like you all know that I'm a big like, stickler on length and like I don't want albums that are too long. But honestly, this album deserved the amount of runtime. Like it all 18 songs felt, different enough, and it was worth getting to the end of the album to get those two really good songs, the one about his kid and the one about his just his legacy as a hip hop artist. And yeah, overall I really like this project, and I don't know if it's gonna be a top 10. We'll see. The top 10 is looking extremely, extremely competitive. Freaking, and then there's still other stuff I gotta do. Aesop Rock, I'm still trying to get through the head scratcher that is that album, but that's probably gonna be in there. And then Conway the Machine, bro, dropping another goddamn album, like bruh, his 5th album, but we gonna react to it because that's what we do. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. With that being said, peace, yo.